it is Tuesday, May 15, 2018 at 5:30. This is the Public Works Committee for the Village of North Hudson. Call to order, please. Roll call.
Chair Pike,
Here.
Trustee Matz,
Here.
Trustee Zeitz,
Absent. All right, item number 2, approve the minutes from the April 2017, 2018 Public Works meeting. I need a motion.
I make a motion, hold on.
It's going to be up to both me and you tonight.
Hang on a second. I make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Was that April 17th?
Yep.
2018 Public Works meeting.
And I will second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, number 3, confined space policy, discussion and possible recommendation. Patrick. So we have a issue statement, one other statement. Open a new tab. Open a new tab. And the email from X Environmental is also part of this?
Yeah, I just included it. It's just conversation.
Okay, so all 3 of those. Which order you want to go through these documents?
I guess I'll read this statement here first, and then,
Okay.
so currently the village has a no-enter policy for confined spaces. I've been working with Jay Pinfield from X Environmental to update our current confined space policy. We made some changes that he recommended to the village's policy, which would allow the public works staff to enter a confined space with proper training and equipment. The confined space policy will allow public works to complete manhole and catch basin repair, and also enable us, public works, to clear obstructions from Cedar Lift Station. That being said, even after the rehab of Cedar is completed, the valves will still need to be exercised along with the 3 other lift stations in the village that the village maintains. So
Well, let's get a motion up and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
How's that? So I need a motion from you.
All right. Move to approve the revised confined space policy to allow entry into confined spaces by trained village and contracted employees.
Second. All right, discussion.
okay.
First of all, did you go over these documents?
I did look through them, yeah.
I went through them too. After talking to you, I went through them more, so I don't really have too many questions.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cut and dried. Jay or X Environmental, this is their business, is writing these policies and stuff. So I went to him. He gave me his advice to change some wording in it, and I changed everything that he told me to, and he told me that it would be sufficient.
Okay.
What kind of trainings around that? I mean, do you guys sit down and like go through like a confined space training?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is it something you have to renew
We'll have to do it every year.
every year? Okay.
Nice.
There's a little bit of cost associated with that. It wasn't much, right?
Yeah, we'll do probably. I'm working with Jay right now to. We'll just do all of their. They'll give us all the training that we need. All of our right to know, confined space, slips, trips, falls, whatever it is that we need to be trained in. They'll do that, and then it'll just be a yearly number.
Do we still have to get that tripod yet? That.
Yes, we do, but that could be something that we could budget for.
Yeah.
Right now, I can borrow
Nice.
that. We do have a gas monitor that
Cool.
is working, and so that Cedar lift station also, when you open the lid to go down into that can, it has an exhaust fan in there,
Oh, nice.
so it's
So it
I mean,
evacuates it. That's new.
it's pretty good.
I just want everybody to be safe.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Did Melissa look at this?
Mm-hmm.
Was there any thought that we needed to run this by our attorney?
She didn't lead me to believe that. No.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
None for me either. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I think you might want to ask her that question before the board meeting, because the board might, someone on the board might ask that question. And if so, it'd be nice to have them get a quick look at it if,
Yep.
if it's required.
Okay.
It's a policy change as well. And I don't know if there's any ordinances that we have to consider when making a policy change.
Okay.
I know we do on ordinances, but I don't know about policies.
Okay.
I haven't changed very many policies.
All right.
Okay, thank you. And it looks good. That was good work, by the way.
Thanks.
Thought it was well thought out. Item number 4, quick trip discussion only. Kevin?
So yeah, this is coming up with the plan commission meeting for tomorrow night. They've gone through and done all their submittals. So, and I've gone through the initial review, and I think Melissa had provided a copy of the comments that I had put together for tomorrow night. So, I believe she has an area for you guys to actually look at the construction plans too. Like a Dropbox that you can physically see what's being submitted. But, you know, basically, you know, they're gonna have their main, they got 2 entrances. There's gonna be one off of North End Road, and then another one that's with the shared driveway with the Mama Maria's Italian restaurant and the bank to the north.
Shared?
Yeah,
So that entrance, you mean that little hook that goes in to Mama Maria's and then onto the bank?
yes,
Okay.
yep. So it's a shared driveway.
So
once-
they'll enter there and go across, how will they get to the back of this is behind Mama Maria's?
It's just to the south of.
So how are they gonna go across Mama Maria's parking lot?
It'll be on the western side. You can see it right here. So as you come in, it's gonna be a right turn, like right away.
Oh,
Yeah,
so instead of going straight into Mama Maria's or left of the bank, you're gonna go right?
yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's, all right. Who's building that?
This is all part of their construction costs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thought is the northern one would probably be more for their delivery trucks and things.
Okay,
And then the one on the southern side is, because that's where all the gas pumps and things are in the front of the building.
okay,
So that's where the majority of the traffic's gonna be coming.
all right.
As part of this, we required what they call a traffic impact analysis, because you're gonna be generating a lot of additional traffic here. So they've gone through and have put that together, and that was submitted to the DOT, so they have to, you know, sign off on everything. But as of now, there was a revised one that was submitted a couple days ago. It's looking at, you know, proposing that there would be a designated left turn lane on Highway 35
What?
into this, into the North End Road.
You're saying the DOT is saying that?
No, when you do the TIA, which was done by one of their consultants for all the traffic analysis.
Yeah.
One of the recommendation is there would be a designated left turn lane into North End Road. And again, that's been submitted to the DOT.
Do we
They-
have property to acquire if we do that?
I mean, there should be enough right of way that's out there right now.
I know there's, okay, so so we would expand the road right at that point,
Yeah,
essentially?
Yep, you'd
So,
have,
so similar to what they want to do in the 35 project with the left turn lanes, just expand the road.
yeah.
So are they going to expand the road, narrow the road, and expand the road by 2021? Or are they going to take into consideration the fact that we would need those 2 left turn lanes anyway? I mean, is the DOT looking that far down the road?
They don't truly, I mean, this thing just got submitted this week, so this is gonna be a kind of like all new news to them on what's being recommended up on this area.
All right, my question is, do you think they will look at their plans in 2021 and maybe they'll just suggest widening the whole thing?
They might.
How do we find that out? I mean, can we make that suggestion? Is it
we're gonna, once we start getting into the nuts and bolts of this thing,
Okay.
there's gonna have to be a lot of discussions about,
Sure.
who's doing the design, who's doing the construction, how's this thing gonna be cost shared.
Where does that happen? Is that at the planning commission level or our level?
A lot of the discussions are gonna take place at the planning commission.
And you go to those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just my own thought. I mean, if we're gonna widen it at Summers for left turn lanes both directions, and they're gonna widen it, I mean, didn't that 35 project go a quarter mile from Summers? Wouldn't that almost encompass this?
It could, I know they're going to the north of Summers. I can't remember exactly how far,
I
but
thought he said a quarter mile.
it could be. So this is gonna be
That
probably.
ought to hit about north end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be right, almost right
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Pretty, yeah.
I just wanna make sure that they
Sure.
consider the upcoming project while they're doing this.
Yeah.
Because they could take it, I mean, they could get that width done
Mm-hmm.
immediately, all in one shot.
Yeah, it would make sense if you could,
Yeah.
correspond between those two projects, definitely.
Okay,
So,
anything else about that project?
um,
Are you responsible to keep us updated on that project? Is that your job, or whose does it fall on?
well, I mean, we thought, I know public work, some of this stuff is dealing with public works items.
Okay,
We just, as a courtesy, we just wanted to bring it to your attention that,
appreciate it.
this is what's coming down the pike, I guess, for construction and things. The biggest reason why they're trying to get their approval in place now is because we have the other development to the east.
Right,
We know.
the
they're-
Gerard,
Yeah, the Gerard development. This project isn't gonna get constructed this year,
right.
but they just wanna get their approvals in place, since they're kinda working with each other.
Sure.
So,
Now is there any additional plowing to us? Do we already plow, Patrick?
I would assume that would be all private, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be doing any of that.
So, yeah, but didn't we in the last board meeting or board meeting ago, have to declare something a street?
North End.
that was North End Road.
North End Road,
And I think you guys are probably already plowing that.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So, yeah.
Any other questions?
No?
The reason I brought that up about who keeps an eye on these projects is, as you know, I'm concerned about Bluebird still. Or you call it something else, Artisan.
Yeah, artisan, yes.
And then Derek, when I first started in Public Works, I had no idea that we had this massive project up there, and then eventually somebody showed us what this project was all about, and there were timelines and stuff, and I'm like, who's managing this?
Yeah.
And everybody went. So
Put their arms up.
I don't know who's supposed to, if it's not you and Patrick,
Kind of a joint thing between village staff and us.
but I'm still concerned about Derek's, because we got hit unexpectedly with light poles, and I'm like, what? Where is this?
Yeah, and the sidewalk
And
and all
curbs,
that.
sidewalks.
Yeah,
So it seems like we should get updates on these big projects, every so often that says, here's their next timetable, here's their next deliverables, and here's where they're at. And they're either ahead or behind, or they're not doing anything, whatever. Even if you say there's no change,
yeah.
it'd be good to keep it in front of us.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's supposed to be planning commission, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seems like once they're done approving it, it's handed off. But
Right, exactly, yeah.
there's no one seemingly managing these projects. We can always go for you for information and you can go get it, but who's actually saying these deliverables are being met?
I would suppose their engineering firm would be,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I could go to their engineering firm and say, hey, we want updates and.
Just seems like we should have a better way of staying abreast of what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
I think you said, well, we'll get to Bluebird in a minute. All right. Any other discussion on Quick Trip? All right, item number 5, Gerard Development, discussion only.
Okay, so this is the other one that's gonna be discussed tomorrow night, and it's just to the east of the Quick Trip parcel. They're looking at It's gonna be multifamily. There's a total of 35 units that are being proposed. Some are one bedroom, some are two bedroom, and some are three bedroom. 3 different structures. And they are gonna have one area where they have detached garages. There's like 9 stalls that are being provided there. This middle building will be 2 levels. So there'll be kind of an upper parking lot and a lower parking lot,
Huh?
just because of the topography and stuff.
It allows for that?
Yeah,
So they would come in on one side, let's just say from the west, the parking lot might be up on the west side, and then the guys on the back, it might be lower or whatever.
yeah, the east side is actually the upper level,
The east side is,
and
okay.
then the west side is the lower level. And that's just, I mean, they're trying to work with the topography out there, and it's kind
So
of,
the lower level, are there even any windows out the lower level?
Yeah.
Towards the east, there would be,
to the west,
to the west?
yeah.
Do we have any ordinances about 2-story that we have to worry about?
No, it's just basically you have to meet the maximum height requirements.
We have something like that.
Yeah, we have something in
Okay.
there, yeah. And for that particular, it's all based on zoning.
So for that zoning,
The maximum height is 45 feet.
do we have anything 45 feet North Hudson? I mean, this is soon to be our tallest building.
Probably, yeah,
Good
45 feet's pretty tall.
And has this made it through the planning commission, the 2-level thing?
It'll actually be coming up for discussion tomorrow.
Good luck with that.
These people on Lund Street aren't gonna be very happy, are they?
Yeah, it's going to be open to a public hearing,
So there are people that are, because of the 2-story nature of the building, that could be site limited all of a sudden?
I mean,
Is there any impact in that way,
off to the east side.
wherever the 2nd story might block?
There's a whole bunch of trees there right now,
Yeah.
so I don't know what it would
Assuming
block.
we're right, like,
Yeah, they're going to keep all,
so here's the quick trip.
they're going to remove some of the trees, but then they're going to
All these
plant a
houses,
bunch
there'll
back
be
in.
windows facing all of them, 2 stories high.
So there are houses off of Lund Street,
Yeah, to the east.
they might be impacted?
They're going to try to, there's going to be some,
Take out their sunsets.
they're going to take some of the trees out, yeah.
All right, well, that's not for us. On the public works side of it, though, do you see much work coming up for us?
No, they're going to they're going to work with Quick Trip and provide emergency access, just because that's getting to be kind of a long driveway,
Sure,
for fire and
right.
emergency vehicles. So they're trying to provide emergency access down on the northern or southern side of it,
Okay,
kind of 2-way.
yeah,
They're gonna provide hydrants out here for fire protection. They're gonna have a big stormwater pond
really?
in between Quick Trip and their development.
Does that have to be there?
Yeah, they have to provide stormwater management, with new
Does it have
development.
to be a pond?
Well, a lot of it's
I
gonna
hate
be,
mosquitoes, dude, I don't like ponds.
luckily you guys have pretty sandy material out here.
Yeah,
So a lot of it's just gonna be a dry basin, infiltration basin. And there's gonna be 2, what they call pre-treatment cells. That's where all the bigger sediment and stuff drops out. But the majority of it's gonna be dry. So,
are they gonna be required to treat it for skeeters if there's water in it?
typically they don't.
I'm coming to that public
You know,
hearing.
those mosquitoes will never make it to 4th Street, you're fine.
I got too many bats around me. All right,
So,
thank you. Anything else?
yeah, I think she provided all the comments again that I have for tomorrow night, but not a
What's tomorrow night?
plan commission.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So basically they're looking for their site plan approval.
They meet up here?
Yes.
What time?
That'll be at 7.
Is that open to the public?
Yep.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to join us.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. So, item number 6, salt shed discussion and possible recommendation. Patrick?
Well, I'm still accumulating quotes for the salt shed. as of right now, I've got 2 quotes. You don't have them, but they're right here. I should be receiving 2 more in the next week or 2. Of course, everybody's busy just like we are.
Right.
You know, so I'm just kind of waiting, I guess, to get these bids in, and then that way, by the time we get to where we're gonna do this, I should have everything put together for you guys.
So 24,000, 32,000, and
Oh, that's
something else?
pad.
Is that about what you
That's
think?
asphalt
Is
pad.
that what you think the pad's gonna cost?
I think it'll be a little less than that, but
Okay, but some, you know, it has to have a pad underneath it.
Okay.
So we're well under the 60. But we have a gravel piece in it.
well, yeah, and that's
Didn't
like I
think
say.
about-
I think we'll. I think we'll.
Did you
be all
explain
right.
the gravel to him? Yeah?
No, I will.
Well, I'm gonna explain it. So, although this doesn't have the little dotted lines with the fences and stuff on it, how close is the red box to our current fence?
It would be within 10 feet.
Yeah, it's probably about 10 feet.
Okay, so from this westerly line, this is all what we just acquired.
Okay.
But the owner has access to all of it except about 50 feet from north to south. So we have access to 50 feet to use to build this salt shed.
Okay.
So as I was talking to Patrick today, we realized that we're going to want to eventually move this fence
Okay.
and to encompass the salt shed. And then in 2 years, we might want to actually fence the whole thing in.
Okay.
So is it okay if I go ahead on this? What we're thinking right now is, one thing we didn't consider is if we do move this fence to include whether we do or not, we're going to have to gravel this area. Because we're gonna have pretty big trucks coming in dumping salt off and big trucks coming to pick salt up. So we need the gravel quote. And so I've asked Patrick to get a quote from here
Yeah.
to, wherever our line is here, which is like 50 feet from where the current fence is.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that public works area?
I actually don't know. I'm learning that right now.
It's 50 by 152 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 50 by 150. There's a fence right here.
Okay.
And the fence basically right now is enclosing our space except for these parking spots over here. We own those parking spots, I think,
Okay.
right? Yeah. So the question is, in addition to what you're seeing here for quotes, we need one more quote from him to include the gravel. So
Okay.
this is something that can be driven on. And then another question that we have is, how do we do the fence thing? So originally, the first thought was we just move the fence out, which is gonna cost about $3,600. One option. Option number 2, we have the entire lot fenced with the owner's permission, because he still has access to this space for 2 more years, two and
Okay.
a few months. We'd have to have the owner's permission to fence the whole thing, so once we fence it, it's done. That would require us, though, to put up a big gate here, so he still has, he drives big trucks through here.
Okay.
So it would be a big gate, the big gate would be extra expense. We were told just today that this owner, who is right here in this space,
Okay.
may be willing to allow our trucks to traverse his driveway back to here and go in that way. So we don't actually have to do anything with a fence
Okay.
until we have taken complete ownership of that whole thing. So it could save us, the expense of the big gate, the expense of moving the fence twice. It is important that this area is fenced in, not so much right away on the salt shed. So these are all options that he needs to quote out, and he's still getting quotes and put before them. But I was going to propose assuming that you're gonna have all that ready
By the next one, yes.
by the board meeting? Will you have it all ready for the board meeting? Because if you're not, then I won't make this motion.
This board meeting?
The June board meeting coming up.
Or at the end of May? I can't promise that.
What I was gonna propose is that we make a motion to approve the building of a salt shed on the Public Works property not to exceed the 60,000 budgeted for this project. This approval is contingent on the audit being completed before the June finance and board meetings so that the funds are available. The audit's still not complete, but I wanted to get it, if I could, get it on the June board meeting so he could begin. But if he's still waiting on quotes, maybe I'm ahead of myself.
Yeah, unless you can somehow approve it here so that, you know, if it has to go to July, then I mean, it has to be, there's nothing we can do with that, I think. But then it's already approved here and I don't have to go through that process.
Well, the thing is,
But
I don't
you
think
don't have all your
I don't think Public Works has enough information to actually make this motion.
Okay, well
We
then.
need,
let's-
we need the
let's
rest
wait.
of the dollars, we need to know how we're going to, what we're gonna do with or without the fence. We're gonna need to know whether the owner is willing to let us traverse his property. And of course, if we're traversing his property, that means that piece that we're traversing needs to be stable. You know,
And we should get that in writing.
and getting that kind of stuff in writing. So, yeah, I'll hold on my motion, because
Okay.
you just need a little more time.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Let me get back here. So anything else on the salt shed that you want to mention or that you have questions about?
Well, the only thing is if you look at that, quote that I got there, it looks pretty low, but, I had talked to the guy and I think it's it's the Greystone. I think
Greystone, the 24? Yeah, you can
it's-
keep that.
It's not actually the 30 by 50, it's a little bit different, but I think it's something that they have on hand that they want to get rid of.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can get a little better deal on it, so I'm gonna converse with him some more
Okay.
and find out.
Well,
you know,
those are
and then
things-
and then I'll have to see, you know, does this company give the same warranty
Right.
as the other, you know, because we got the 20-year warranty.
Yep,
the
so
other,
you got some legwork to do yet.
Yeah.
And Kevin, on this, eventually I would like dotted lines.
I can
For
do
the
that
fence.
tonight.
Yeah, we'll get it.
It doesn't have to be in color. By the dotted lines, I want to be able to show the village current fence, one dotted line,
Yep.
and where that 50 feet or whatever it is, dotted line is. And maybe, you know, since we're going down the path of investigating whether that owner will allow us to traverse so we don't have to build a fence right away, maybe you can show where that road is right here. Is there actually a driveway, or would we be coming in this way? Oh, okay. Well, then maybe you could do some squiggly lines on that to show them how we traverse. All right. Item number 7. Flex sealing of village catch basins, discussion and possible recommendation. So on that, we had 2 items here. The issue statement for 2018 storm sewer, and then the catch basin repair sheet. So I'm opening both of those here. I'll need you to make that motion there.
All right. Motion to recommend / approve ESS Brothers and Sons, Inc. to flex seal repaired catch basins and seal any additional basins with a price not to exceed $7,000.
And I'll second that. All right. The total budget again for catch basins, do we know what that number is? I think you said
19,000.
19,000. So what you're thinking you're gonna do here, you're gonna use, this motion is about not the rest of the catch basins you're gonna do. This is just about flex sealing the ones that we have physically repaired.
Yeah, we can get those done and then maybe a few extra, but I wanna, even if we can only do, if we can afford to do 2, that's better than doing none.
Well, if you're only spending 7 out of the 19, it would seem like you could get more than 2 down there. We're running about.
No, I'm just throwing that out there, my thought is let's keep pecking away at it. So scratch the number 2, if we can only do 10 a year, then let's do 10. You know what I mean? Whatever monies we have, I wanna continue on the project because I think it's a good product.
Do we have any kind of a pacer rating on our catch
No,
basins?
no,
Nothing on.
no,
Have you guys gone through and
yeah.
inspected all of them?
Yeah, I know. That's why do we have a list of the ones most critical or anything like that?
Doesn't that map show which ones are the bad ones, like the ones you want to do?
Well, these, right now, as of the last inspection, I guess the green ones are the ones that are in need of repair.
So you do kind of have a
A little
pacer.
bit, yeah.
Okay.
I can't call it pacer because of
Right,
copyright.
right. But are you updating this yearly then?
Yeah, I will, yes.
Okay, and
this
so
is my first year, but
In
yeah,
this diagram, you're saying the orange ones are ones that we had to physically repair, brick and mortar like, right?
not necessarily brick and mortar. A lot of them, we replaced rings on top because that was all that was bad.
Okay,
Replaced curb and gutter, whatever.
okay.
There was quite a few of them that the bottoms were like gone. So we put cement in the bottom and trawled everything out and get us some more life out of them.
Okay.
Before they're completely
So
destroyed.
do you understand on this Flex Seal product?
I don't understand what they're doing with the Flex Seal. Is it just like,
Okay, that came last year. We found this new product for that you can use this stuff called Flex Seal, which turns to rubber.
like as seen on TV?
Yeah, pretty much.
Plastic.
And you can essentially repair and seal. And they go in and they sandblast, I think, and
All
they
the
clean
rings.
everything up, and then they apply this rubber.
Okay.
And it protects them and causes them to last longer.
Okay.
And we had like guarantees of what, 10 years or 20?
We have like a
Can't remember.
gentleman's agreement that
Yeah.
it would be lifetime.
I tried to hold you to that before, didn't I? Anyway, but they extend the life of these things. And
Okay.
Minneapolis, was it Minneapolis or St. Paul that was using this?
They use them all over.
So
It's
it was
all
a big,
over.
we were spending like, what, 3,500 at minimum to repair one of these?
One of them.
Okay.
One.
Okay.
And this,
45.
4,500 now? All right, and this Flex Seal was going for like 850 per bin?
Probably less than that.
Yeah, it was 750. I used
750.
800 as a budget
Okay.
number.
So we realized all of a sudden we could get a lot more of these fixed
Right.
and sealed
Nice.
by this company, ESS. And they did, in the first year, we actually had some monies from a loan or something, so we did 66 of them last year.
Yeah, last year, yeah.
And so now this year, we've been budgeted, I don't know how that happened, but we only ended up with 19,000. I thought we were gonna pick off about 60 of them a year for some reason and catch them up. And there's a grand total of how many?
I want to say 261.
Somewhere in
And that's
there.
just the catch basins?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or is it the manholes too?
That was just catch basins.
just catch basins.
And sometimes we're doing manholes, and we can use this on manholes too.
Yep.
Be
Correct.
nice to have a total number. one of
If
these days.
if you want, get a hold of me at some point or whatever, and they demoed one of them on a manhole over on Lund Street, and I can show you what it looks like.
Okay. Does look like the building waterproofing when they do the exterior below
yeah,
grade.
pretty much the
Yeah.
same.
Okay.
Inside. The biggest thing is probably with the salt.
Yeah,
The salt from the streets, it actually deteriorates all the rings and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it just protects all that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's proven to be a nice product. Okay, so the only thing about this motion is it's only dealing with these 7, right? Or these, how many is it?
well, I'm thinking we can, just for a budget number, we could probably get 9 done. But
But you're specifically after these, in this statement, you're after the ones that we've repaired, right?
Well, no, read the statement. It says,
8.
and seal any additional basins. So any others
Oh.
that we can do.
Okay, but why aren't you spending the whole 19? That's what I'm after.
We discussed that, but it's because we need money to buy. I gotta buy another pallet of mortar. I gotta buy a pallet of cement, so that we can continue fixing the top rings that pop up. And I mean, we've already done 2 of them.
So you're saving some money to repair.
Yeah, we have to have some money there for emergencies.
What bucket is this out of?
It's from the stormwater.
Did you find out where that money's coming from?
It comes from our user fee.
So it is that surcharge that's on our water bill.
Storm. Yeah,
And
for
that,
stormwater.
all the money for that goes to this kind of repair?
Not all of it, no.
Where's the rest of
Storm
it?
and sanitary.
Oh, it's split?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I'll get a definite for you.
I would like to know the breakdown of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right, on our water bill, there is a surcharge. That surcharge for the people is only in North Hudson. The surcharge goes to a bucket, and we use those monies to fix these kinds of things, and also sewer, right? So, I'd like to know what that number is.
Yep.
And how it's broken down. If you could get that for me. All right, so the motion is, so you're gonna do as much as you can. And you're staying within that 19,000.
And I know what you're thinking, and I don't wanna go more than 7, because I don't wanna get caught and not have money to do an emergency thing.
So you're gonna come back, you're gonna have to come back and ask for more out of that 19,000? If
No.
you need to repair anything else? Because
Well, yeah.
you're only asking us to authorize,
7.
right, or 8. You did 7 last year and 1 this year.
No, 7,000. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't make sense to me why you're not asking to do more. Because you're gonna have to come back if we're only approving up to 7 right now.
Okay, are you saying 7 catch basins or 7?
7 grand, sorry.
Okay. So the $7,000 is for, I wanna put that towards the Flex Seal project.
Okay,
The rest of the money, because I know we're gonna need it, buying.
Gonna go towards repair
rings.
maintenance.
Yeah, repair and maintenance, so we're gonna buy rings, we're gonna buy mortar,
More of
we're
the
gonna buy
physical.
cement, more of the stuff that we can do on our own.
you're saying so more of the physical repair versus the
Yes.
Flex Seal
Yeah.
repair?
Because a lot of that, I mean, there's quite a few of the catch basins that the Flex Seal isn't gonna help.
And those you wanna get
And
at?
I'm trying to limp those along and pick them off as I
Okay,
can.
all right, I
And
understand.
God forbid we have a big storm or something and something washes away, then we have to replace one, so I wanna be able to do that.
Okay, all right,
That's
you're being
why-
cautious, I
That's
get
why
it.
I'm not going for the whole thing.
It's-
I
all right.
don't wanna do that.
Any other questions? All right, it's a spending issue, so yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, motion passed. I like that little map. Keep it updated, please. All right. Chair update. I think I got one here. Pull it up. Okay, flushable wipes, as always, we want to remind folks that are watching that the flushable wipes may flush, but they harm the sewer system and cost us all additional money. Second thing that I wanted to mention was Bluebird, or what do you call it?
Artisan.
Artisan.
Subdivision.
What's the status on the street? The last thing I knew that Public Works had to worry about was the street. Is the street done?
No, the street isn't done yet. No.
What's your
I,
answer?
he hasn't even been down there to put any of the gravel or any of that stuff in yet. I think he's still working on the ponds, storm sewer and all that stuff.
Okay, so storm
Gary.
sewer is still being worked on?
Yeah.
So 2 items for us. Do we have any time frame from him?
Not from Gary yet, but I can reach out to him and see what his status is.
Does the project have dates on it?
There's dates that are actually in the developer's agreement,
Yes.
completion dates.
Yes.
I'd have to truly look back and see when the final completion date is supposed to be
So-
done by.
So next meeting, can you give us an update on the, what'd you call it, developers agreement?
Developer's agreement, yeah.
That's the thing I ran into with the guy up there, that nobody seemed to know.
Yeah, I'll check in and update you guys next month then.
All right, and okay if I bring this one up? Or hold off?
Oh, yeah, they know he's here now, so.
Okay, so what's the status on street sweeping?
They started this morning, so should be done this week.
Takes them about a week.
Well, I'm guessing because Wednesday will be a bad day for garbages and stuff like that, I don't know. You know, I mean,
Okay,
it'll take a little more time, so yeah, he should be out of here. It's spring and
good weather.
there's not a lot of leaves and.
And that usually means as soon as the street sweeping gets done, you do what?
We're gonna, try to paint lines right away.
Paint lines, that's right, okay. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was, the agenda items 12 and 13. I thought last time, and did I send you an email on this?
What?
On items 12 and 13? You submit the minutes to who?
To Melissa.
Okay. Well, items 12 and 13, we kind of wanted to combine those. It should read just item 12, Public Works Committee Future Goals / Agenda Items. We don't need them both. They're redundant.
Do we not, yeah, but do we not wanna keep those two separate? Because this is for budgeting.
No, the one above it's for budgeting.
11, yes, is for
Let's
budget.
talking 12 and 13.
12 and 13. 13 is adjournment.
Not on mine.
Oh.
Yeah, this is, it's been amended, there's another item that was added.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so if it's been fixed, great.
Okay.
But it basically, like I said, what I
didn't-
said, it
yeah.
should read, Patrick,
I forgot about that.
it just should say Public Works Committee Future Goals / Agenda Items. Okay? It's just a little cleanup work there. And then, that's all I have. Engineering report, anything additional?
Just two things. Did reach out to LW Allen this week, trying to get an update on where we're at with the pumps. And as of now, delivery date, well, ship date from the factory is on June 20th.
Ooh,
Okay.
So,
a little faster than we thought.
Good.
yeah, originally they were looking at July,
Okay.
first part of July, so.
Do you guys do anything on when you're gonna actually start that project based on
We
those
will.
deliveries?
Well, we will now
will.
that we've got a little better idea.
Okay. But can you trust those delivery dates?
He said that that could change, I mean,
Okay.
depending on, you know, if something happens in factory or whatever, but as of now, that's what they have slated for is on June, that's from the factory, so,
Great.
you know, you got shipping date,
So that knocked like a couple weeks off, right?
yeah.
Well, not get too far ahead of ourselves, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Right.
nice.
Yeah,
So at some point, will you guys put like a little project plan together to how this is all gonna work? I mean, having to do the bypass and all that stuff.
yeah.
Sure.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
So put together a mop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
And the other thing is, you know, based on the village's decision at the last board meeting, I reached out to DOT on the sidewalk, so they're gonna revise the SMA agreement, and then they'll be resending that out, so
Does that mean we need to re-sign or anything, or
you'll have to sign that
that would be
document.
Melissa though, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
So, that's in the works too, so,
okay, great.
yeah, so,
That's it?
that's it.
I want my dotted lines. All right, director's report, number 10, Patrick.
I was just gonna, as long as you brought up the LWL, and at least once every 2 weeks, I've been talking to Tri-State, so just so that I'm letting you guys know that they're in the loop of everything that's going on, so that they can plan for, to get in here as soon as possible, as soon as the pumps come in, and
Is that who we selected?
Tri-State. Yeah.
Tri-State?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
so.
You're not charging us mileage on it.
Sorry, that's been a big beef of mine. And then I guess the other thing that we've, I was gonna bring up was East Bank lift station the other day. I had an issue down there. We burnt out a starter, so we're gonna have to replace that. The
The
reason
starter's on,
it's in the electric panel,
oh,
and
and what does it start?
the motor.
The motor? One motor or both?
One, there's one for each.
Okay, so one starter's out.
Yep, so, there again, we go back to, that's kinda how the whole cedar thing started, was that we burned out, we plugged that up and burned out the rotophase, so we had to put the VFDs in.
Sure.
So,
Is there a way to, so are we down a motor right now?
right now we are until they get
No way
that
to-
part in.
You can't like put jumper cables on it, jump start that sucker?
Well, you could, but I'm not gonna do it,
All right, that's cool.
so, it is, just so
I
I'm,
mean, so we're running on one pump,
yeah.
and that's worse than jump starting the other one.
To me, it is.
Okay. All right, when's the starter coming in?
He's told me that it should be here tomorrow or Friday, so.
Oh, is that something you install or they,
No, they'll come back out and install it. I'm not
And
an
who's doing it?
electrician. General repair,
general repair, okay.
yeah. So, and then we did, I don't know if I mentioned or not, but the last, I replaced a volute down on the Riverside duplex station. The volute was actually broken. I do have it at the shop so that,
Oh.
you guys can
Yeah, if you wanna
See
go
it
see
there.
what, I mean, they're,
whatever.
he showed me that
They
thing.
take a lot of abuse,
They are taking some abuse.
so,
That gouged out thing, I mean, that's probably there on all of them?
eventually it will be, and it is on the other one down there,
Okay.
so.
The big one?
No,
What other one?
the other pump that
Oh,
is in that
right,
station.
there's two in each, okay.
Yep. They both look about the same, just that one was broken, so I figured it better get fixed.
Okay. Anything else?
So, no, I'm good.
Applications are all in as of the 17th, or, no, what
17th.
is today?
17th, today's the 15th.
Okay, so you got applications coming
2
for
more
a
days.
public works job. 2 more days they have to put them in, and then you start going through them.
How's the turnout?
We have 3 applicants.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Item number 11, Public Works Capital Equipment Planning and Discussion only. This section is for budgeting for the next year. Do you have any items that you want to budget for next year or bring up as a?
Not yet.
Anything from you?
Not really. I'm kind of looking into a truck for pulling the pumps and stuff. I get it. We don't want to spend, big amounts of money, but that would be the only way that I could, or that would be one way that I could save quite a bit of money, is to get a crane truck to pull these pumps so we could do a lot of this maintenance ourselves rather than depending on an outside contractor.
Great.
I've got a few bids or whatever, but it's just something that I'm gonna at least show you guys so that you're aware that there's a good sized dollar amount attached to it. But if you look back in history, the village has never had their own pump truck, and so you're always at the mercy of a
We had our own fire
contractor.
department at one time. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
It's way back.
Okay.
Somebody told me about that the other day. I go, really? back when the train station was up and running,
Oh.
so we're way back.
All right.
Would you consider doing a budget planning sheet? Pretty sure the chief has one.
Okay.
Maybe get Nathan to modify whatever he's using.
Mhm.
All I want is, here, as we have these discussions, you throw it on there in approximate
So it
amount.
stays there.
So
Okay.
it's there, and that's something when we hit budget,
Okay.
I would like to be able to go over those things.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can try to come
I
up
think
with
it's a
something.
good idea, the one that I think that's a good idea, but I don't know until budget time where we're gonna be at, but we don't really ever know, so.
Mhm.
You should do estimated payback on that truck too. If you know how much it costs every time, you should be able to extrapolate that out to say, hey, look, this is going to pay for itself in 3 years.
Yeah. Put it
Yeah,
on-
no, I can,
do
I
an
can,
ROI line on
I
it.
can definitely do that, just looking back in the history. We could have,
Yeah. I wanna be ready for this budget cycle,
Yeah.
as ready as we can be anyway.
okay. All right,
And we're only really
Well,
3 months before we start
a
again.
few months away, yeah.
I haven't even got to spend yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That's it for
Yep.
budget?
Yep.
All right, item 12, Public Works Committee, future goals, discussion only. You have any future goals?
A lot, but none that pertain to this.
Okay, well, I do have one somewhere. The subject of ATVs was brought up to me again, and we had passed that off to public safety after discussing it here. And public safety weighed in, and we found out there were rules that meant we had to put a sign up on every street corner. Subsequently, in the last legislature, I believe it was, they changed that rule. So now we only have to have a sign up on the entrances to the village, of which there are 5. And that includes Ferry Landing as an entrance to the village, coming up from the lake.
I suppose. Yeah,
So,
makes sense.
because of that, and because there isn't really anything that public safety needs to do with this at this point, we need to get an ordinance.
Yep.
Do you know where we might be able to find one?
I know of 2 communities that went through this too, so.
Okay.
yeah.
So could you work with Patrick, and we need to get an ordinance, and we need to get that ordinance passed by Public Works. It'll need to go by, obviously, Public Safety and the lawyer. They'll all need to look at it, so there's some legwork, but I would like to get this moving. And I would like you to consider how to get the signs and what they need to say, and I think it's all outlined actually in the law.
Okay.
And then, what that cost is gonna be. And I am hopeful that by fall, we're not in a real rush, but by fall, we have those signs up and ready, and we're ready to run ATVs on the streets.
Okay.
There's gonna be a lot of little legwork in it, and then eventually, obviously, the chief needs to see it, especially the ordinance, because he's the one that's gonna be enforcing it. So,
Yep.
any thoughts, questions?
So we're going to run snowmobiles,
ATVs.
just 4-wheelers.
ATVs that are licensed, they are very specific, the state laws. They have to be licensed, they have to have blinkers, they have to have lights. I
Okay.
can't remember everything, but that'll all be included in the ordinance.
Okay.
This came up a year ago, and it's kind of been languishing. It's actually come up several years. But now that we went through a year of looking into it and finding out that, what the DNR has to say about it and what the state has to say about it, and it comes down to a municipal decision. We could have done it, but they were, at the time, requiring a sign on every street corner.
Will they be able to go up and down 35?
35 is exempt because, I believe 35 is exempt in that rule because it's a state highway.
State highway.
It's called a state highway, right?
Yeah, state
Yeah.
highway,
No, they can't go up and down 35, but they can cross 35.
Okay. Just curious if they could come in from the country and then hit the city streets and zoom around and.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. And a lot of the push was for the fishermen in our community that want to be able to take their ATV and tow their ice house down to Ferry Landing and get it out on the river.
Okay.
That was a lot of the push. So it's primarily at least initially, it's primarily being looked at as a winter thing that we want to get up and running. But, I mean, people are running these little motor scooters, and they're licensed and,
Be good for Pepperfest Parade. It'd be legal then.
right? Yeah. So it's back on us for now. I think it will stay with us until it gets completed. And so that's a future agenda item for next agenda, I need you to put ATV on there and what are our next steps.
Okay.
And we know a few of them. We know we need to get that policy, or that ordinance in place, which Kevin, I think, could get us an example of.
Yep, I get you covered.
Okay.
All right. Any questions about that? You guys have any questions about that? All right. And since number 13 is really gone, because we just discussed it, number 14 is adjournment. We are adjourned at 6:26.